Well, why don't you watch cricket anymore? Because I wonder if we have similar reasons.
Well, no, I don't watch cricket anymore because I'm over here and I'm a techno-minimalist and I don't have TV. So it's not possible. I mean, in England, I was saying to someone actually earlier today that my ideal day out in England was to get on my bike, my push bike. I lived in the countryside anyway, cycle out to small villages, and there would be a village pub, a village green, a village church, and a village cricket match. So you'd sit outside the village pub drinking the beer. Lovely? You'd hear the chime of the church clock every 15 minutes, and that sound of oak on willow, that hard on soft wood. It's a unique sound. And even if you're not particularly watching the game, just having that in the background while you're drinking your beer was something very there's something sensual in a really serene, beautiful oral sense of the word, and that's something that I miss. But I don't watch TV really. I'd rather disconnect and reconnect with real reality and not virtual reality.
Did you have to make that conscious choice to distance from technology, or is it something you've always had?
I think up to a point since I was young, I've always preferred to be in touch with the real. I think in a poem by Jeremiah Hopkins, he says in, I think it's God's Grandeur, he says, nor can foot feel being shod.
Beautiful.
Right, you can't feel the softness of the grass under your foot because you've got shoes on. We have this, particularly in our day and age, we have this artificial accretions of technology surrounding us all the time, and it's very difficult to actually stay in touch with real reality. I mean, I'd rather be out with a bonfire. I'll give you another example here. I remember it was 4th of July, and we live in the bottom of a hill surrounded by trees, so we can't actually see the fireworks unless we go somewhere because we can't get the trees. And I remember hearing the fireworks, but I had a bonfire going, and it was burning out towards the end of the day. And I don't know if you've ever watched the way that the embers will sort of stream across the side of an ashy log. And I thought, in microcosm, I have my own pyrotechnics here. I don't need to be doing all of that. So that's me.
But for me, I have to violently choose the real because I'm too drawn to the techno stuff, and I wish I wasn't. And it sounds like what you're saying is it wasn't necessarily a virtuous bursting out of the confines of technology. It's just something you've always...
Yeah, I think that for you it would be much more of an act of virtue as for me. My aversion to technology is something which is ingrained. And so it's easy. So I don't know there's anything virtuous, except that I don't think it's virtuous, anything virtuous, period. But I do think it keeps me in touch with the real, and of course the real ultimately is God, and and not wanting the layers. I don't think it's anything virtuous in me, but I thank God that there are fewer layers between me and him because of my not wanting those layers,
And so do you think those layers muffle the sound of God, as it were? Do you think the further entrenched we are in unreality, the less likely we are to perceive and respond to God?
Completely, absolutely. I do think that we live in a technolatrous society that worships technology, and I think most of us live surrounded by technology at all times, and it's difficult for God to be heard with all the white noise that produces, and difficult for us to listen to him even when there's something to be heard. So we do have to regain a holy simplicity, which means just to switch ourselves off, unplug ourselves as much as possible. I know all of us are connected one way or the other with our work. That's reality, and I have no problem with that. But if you're plugged into your computer from 9 to 5, why would you want to be plugged into your computer from 5 till 9? Afterwards and then go to bed? I mean, at what point have you actually experienced reality on that primal level?
Because reality is painful and technology distracts you from that pain.
Well, I don't think it does. I think that's...
Then why are we doing it? It's got to be.
Because it's an addiction.
Doesn't addiction distract us?
Well, I think we're trying to become comfortably numb, but I think the comfortable numbness has its own pain, its own suffering. Okay. It's like all false choices. They're made for instant gratification, for simple, to escape the moment. But where we move from escaping the moment is into a deeper level of unhappiness.
No, but so I think we agree, because escaping the moment is another way of saying distraction, isn't it?
Yes, completely.
I've had this idea that the phone is both the cause and the relief of our anxiety. It's like it cuts as it heals.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I wrote something years ago called Distracting Ourselves to Death. So, for instance, I often forget to turn my phone on.
Most people forget to turn it off.
Right, and I try to turn it at least down at the end of the day, put it in to recharge and turn it down so I don't not interested till tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow morning, it's early afternoon. I thought, oh my word, this is the phone that people know can contact me on, and I haven't even looked at it.
And how do you deal with people's frustrations with that? Because the phone is a means by which I can make demands on you. That's what I like. It's also a means by which you can make demands upon me, you being everybody else, which I don't like. So have you found people, are they frustrated with you that they can't get to you?
Well, two things. First of all, in the old days, speaking in the abstract, before I answer in the particular, concrete, in the old days, you were expected to work a 40-hour week. Now we're all expected to work a 24/7 week, right? And there's no time off. If your colleague contacts you on Sunday, you're expected to respond because you've received the message. So I make a point of I'm not going to respond if I'm not connected. And if I forget to turn the phone on, and some of my phones, I'll apologize. But the good thing about being my age, you've got a long way to go before you get there, Matt. But when you get to my age, you can be a curmudgeon and get away with it. And people know that I'm a techno-minimalist. They know that they know I don't like texting. And so if they text me and they don't get a reply either at all or for a long while, they can't complain. No, not so they don't, but they shouldn't.
Do you know people who have been hooked into this technological world who have sought a means of escape and have successfully found it? Is that?
I think that for most of us, it's a bit like other appetites. Gluttony, drunkenness, whatever. Other appetites, addictions that we have to wean ourselves off. For most people, that's a struggle. I say this particular one's not a struggle for me, and I thank God for that. I've got more than enough other things to struggle with. So it's good to not have that one. But for a lot of people, it's permanent. You can see them always, and it's almost as if they're nervous as soon as the phone, even if it's on silent, and they can hear it or feel it or something. They're never away from it. It's as if they're on call.
Just so you know, everybody who's watching you is that person. I mean, there's a few who aren't.
Right.
But this is
well, in that case, then, thanks for inviting a weirdo onto your show, Matt.
No, but we need weirdos. Those are also called prophets. Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the video.